Whatcom County Dispute Resolution Center is a nonprofit organization that helps people resolve disputes, conflicts, maybe between neighbors, parents, children, grandparents, businesses, co-workers, landlords, and tenants, you name it. Joining us today on Northwest Notebook, our Executive Director, Moonwater, and Case Manager, Calhan Ring. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So fill us in a little bit on the Resolution Center. I don't think a lot of people are aware of this.
Sure. We're a nonprofit organization. We've been around for 15 years. This is actually our 15-year anniversary, so we're happy to celebrate that. Our mission is to promote understanding, tolerance, and healing in the community by helping people resolve conflicts creatively and collaboratively. So we offer conflict prevention services and conflict intervention services. Basically what that means is that we are providing training to help people build capacity in how to deal with conflict more effectively. And then since conflict is normal and natural, and no matter how much training you have, it's going to happen, we offer mediation services. So for folks that find themselves in the middle of a dispute and they're not sure what to do and how to resolve it, they can come to us, talk to Calhan as the case manager, and he'll help them set up a mediation so they can work through it.
Calhan, as a case manager, cite us some examples.
Some examples of
conflicts,
kinds of
that you've had to resolve.
So we get a lot of calls. One of our biggest programs is our small claims program. So we offer mediation for free to everyone that's involved in a small claim. So like you said before, there's a lot of landlord-tenant cases in there. Basically, various reasons people go to small claims, consumer issues, things like that. What we do is we help bring those people together and help them talk about what their actual interests are rather than necessarily the sum of money that they're suing for. So in landlord-tenant stuff, it's a lot of times a damage deposit or damages in excess of the damage deposit. In consumers, sometimes people are unhappy with the service that they provided, and so finally being able to have the conversation. You've got two people that can now. For one thing, they're able to kind of create a relationship, hear what one another have to say. A lot of times, for the very first time, they actually get to hear what one another have to say, and basically build an agreement based on that.
And Moonwater, these resolutions are legally binding?
They are considered a contract between parties, and so as folks, in many of our cases, we have resolutions of up to 98, 97% of our parties will reach some type of resolution during a mediation. And the agreement that they come to is written up as a contract between them and can be submitted to a court of law as such. Most parties, though, are able to come to agreements that work for them because it's not the mediator that's making the decision for them. So they work with the mediator to identify how they're going to be able to resolve that dispute, write that up, and then they follow through with that agreement because it was their idea. So the likelihood that they would actually need to end up in court and submitting that agreement is very low because it's durable. They've developed it themselves.
Do you find most conflicts are basically misunderstandings?
Quite often. Misunderstandings or lack of communication. I mean, so often Calhan will get calls from folks that say that there's some particular dispute, but they haven't actually spoken to the other person about it, and they've made assumptions or the communication is broken down. They've yelled at one another quite a bit, but they haven't had any productive conversation. So sitting down together at the same table with the help of someone that isn't invested in the outcome because they're not involved in the dispute can really help parties come to some agreement.
Calhan, I recently saw, didn't you participate in a forum on gang violence here in Bellingham?
I did.
Tell us about that.
Well, that was an interesting experience for me since I'm not necessarily a gang expert or anything. My interest in it was I work on some of our youth programs, so I offer a class through the center. I facilitate the class called Facing Conflict Without Violence, and it's for young men, aged kind of teenage years. And we talk about dispute resolution skills and issues of violence, and I have served some gang-affiliated youth in that class, and we talk a little bit about gangs and things like that in our class. So that was kind of my interest in it.
But the good news is that Bellingham has yet to develop a significant gang problem, right?
There are active gangs in Bellingham. As in larger cities, they are more active, so we're fortunate that they're not quite as active as they are in some other places. But it is something that's happening here, and there does need to be some type of intervention and prevention work. And that's the role that the center can play in the community, again, by helping to build the skills of young people to deal with conflict effectively. And there's reasons why young people are drawn to gangs, and there's assistance that we can provide in helping them have healthy relationships, understanding how they can respond productively when peer pressure is, when they're in an environment of peer pressure. So there's a role that we can play in addition to the role that law enforcement can play that can have a holistic and helpful impact.
And where are you located and what are your hours?
We're located at 13 Prospect Street in downtown Bellingham, although we do serve all of Whatcom County, and we're open Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 5.
Moonwater and Calhan Ring from the Whatcom County Dispute Resolution Center. Thanks for being a guest on Northwest Notebook today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.